Chaikin Analytics is not registered as a securities broker dealer or investment advisor, and nothing in this video should be considered investment advice. We are very excited at Chaikin Analytics to share with you today our Power Gauge Investor subscription. The Power Gauge Investor subscription is a two-part subscription, including a newsletter from our founder, Marc Chaikin, including a portfolio of stocks and our Power Gauge Analytics robust stock research tool that allows you to research and make decisions about your own stocks, but also to find new actionable stock and ETF ideas. In this video, we'll explore both of these features and help you get a better understanding of what you will get with your subscription. We're going to start with the Power Gauge Investor newsletter. It does come to your email, of course, on the fourth Thursday of every month. But we also have a website, as you see right here, powergaugeinvestor.com. This site has the current and past issues of the Power Gauge Investor available at any time at your fingertips. The portfolio of stocks is also kept here on this website with stops included. We also on this site will find training videos for the Power Gauge Analytics research tool. Clicking Analytics training series will bring you to all of the different videos. Now, we really want to spend most of our time today talking about the Power Gauge Analytics tool. The newsletter, fairly self-explanatory, but the Power Gauge Analytics tool is a robust software system that could use a little bit more explaining so you really understand the benefits and what you are getting as part of this subscription. There are 4 primary screens here in the Power Gauge Analytics tool, and you access them by clicking the menu here at the top. We begin with the dashboard, which is what you see when you log in. The dashboard has 3 parts. On the far left side, we see performance of any list of stocks. This is a list I've created of just some random stocks, and we are able to see performance, in this case, over the last month. This typically defaults to showing you performance today over the last one day, and you can change this around over different periods of time. This works on any list in the Power Gauge Analytics tool. That includes, by the way, the Power Gauge Investor portfolio provided by Marc Chaikin in the newsletter, which lives here as well. It also includes industry groups, indices, ETFs, and hot lists, which are other types of ideas lists available for you. These lists and how they work are explained in more detail in those training videos we just discussed. In the middle of the dashboard, we find some featured Chaikin ideas. These are lists of stocks that may be of interest to you for adding to your portfolio. They include like the best of the NASDAQ, money makers, trend changers, and some ETF lists as well. By clicking on the list, it will expand and show you the stocks contained within 10 or less stocks or ETFs in each group. And hovering your mouse over the name of the list tells you where this list of stocks or ETFs comes from. Now, we're going to talk about how we analyze stocks in a moment, but just because these stocks are in this list does not mean you immediately go buy them. It means that this is a good list to be looking into for ideas. We still need to do some analysis ourselves on these stocks. We'll talk about that in a second. And very important, the last item here on our dashboard is our insights commentary. Yes, you receive a newsletter, of course, as part of the subscription, monthly, the Power Gauge Investor. But commentary 5 days a week from our experts, so you have a very clear view of what is going on in the market and how you should be approaching it, is also part of your membership. Every Monday morning, the market insights from Marc Chaikin himself is posted right here. Take a deep dive into the conditions of the market, Marc's outlook backed by data, including a stock pick of the week, as well as a screen of the week, a way you can find actionable ideas yourself. We'll talk about the screener in a few minutes. Also included Tuesday through Friday is commentary in the afternoon from Pete Carmasino. Pete writes the afternoon insights, detailed looks at what is going on in the market with a daily theme. right? Talking about market breadth one day, sector rotation another, with, of course, a market overview, stocks of the day periodically, as well as screens of the day as well. All told, the Insights commentary is coming to you 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, along with the newsletter monthly and the portfolio. Part of your membership is making sure you are clearly up to date on the current conditions of the market and ways to approach it. Now, from here, we want to discuss the workspace, the primary place we are going to analyze stocks in the Power Gauge Analytics tool. Sometimes we call the workspace the big blue chart because that's what it looks like. We take a weight of the evidence approach at Chaikin Analytics, combining multiple data points to skew the odds in our favor. This way, we find stocks that are more likely to outperform. The Power Gauge rating is our primary rating. It is in and of itself a weight of the evidence approach. It is a 20-factor model that combines both fundamentals and technicals. Bullish and very bullish stocks are more likely to outperform the rest of the stock market in the next 1 to 6 months. Bearish and very bearish stocks are more likely to underperform in the same period of time. Neutral stocks are just that. They're stocks where the data isn't telling us clear outperformance or underperformance is likely. We prefer to focus on bullish and very bullish stocks. Think of it as a quality filter. Bullish and very bullish stocks are our starting point for looking for stocks that are most likely to outperform. But it doesn't end there. We don't just look for any bullish stock and buy it. There are many bullish stocks. We want the cream of the crop. We need to make sure the market agrees with the model and combine technical information with the Power Gauge rating. And that's where these charts come in. There is 6 primary data points we look at before making decisions for any stock, all included here on this chart. We make it easy for you to read the data on our chart with our pre-trade checklist. This checklist goes through each of the items on the chart and tells you if it's strong, green check, neutral, yellow, minus, dash, or red X, weak, wait. In the case of pool here, we are seeing green checks up and down the checklist. It is what we are looking for, 5 or 6 green checks to consider a stock for our portfolio. Let's briefly touch on each of the items in this checklist so you get a better understanding of how it works. But remember, the checklist makes it easy for you. We read our charts from the bottom up. The most important data is down here at the bottom, because you'll notice the most important data, of course, is the Power Gauge rating. And this is the Power Gauge trend. This is what the Power Gauge rating would have been previous days. We're looking for a stock that has been bullish for at least maybe the last couple weeks, preferably last couple months, as we see here from pool. The next most important information on the chart is relative strength versus the SPY. This is how this stock has been performing in comparison to the S&P 500. We are looking for outperforming stocks. Large institutions need to buy outperformers. They're graded on a relative basis. Outperformers tend to continue to outperform. That doesn't mean it lasts forever, of course, but tomorrow an outperforming stock is most likely going to be outperforming still. This is about skewing the odds in our favor. Yes, we want stocks that are already outperforming. Again, couple weeks, a month or two, preferably of outperformance. Again, pool here, a couple months, looks solid. These 2 indicators, Marc Chaikin often calls the Batman and Robin of Chaikin Analytics. They're your dynamic duo. The 2 most important items here on the chart as we take our weight of the evidence approach. But the other information is still also important, folks. What about money flow? Money flow is a proxy calculation that tells us whether or not large institutions are accumulating or distributing this stock. In other words, are the large institutions that move the market buying this up, or are they selling it off? We want to be on the same side as the smart money, as the big institutions. We look at money flow over a period of time, what we call money flow persistency. Is it green more often than it's red over the last couple months? that's considered strong money flow. And you bet where I circled, there's some red in there, but guess what? It's by and large green. It's green today. That is solid, strong money flow. And of course, we see that here in our checklist as well. What else do we take into consideration here before deciding if it's the sort of stock we're interested in? Well, we have our long-term trend line. This is a 200-day double exponential moving average. Are we above a rising long-term trend line? That's a check for us right now. Higher highs and higher lows. Looks good. What about strong industry groups? A rising tide lifts all boats. We look at industry groups and say, are there more bullish rated or bearish rated stocks within those groups? Strong green check here for distributors. Great. These are ways we decide if a stock is strong and likely to outperform, but we also want to try to time our entry. Folks, that's where overbought, oversold comes in. This is our short-term timing oscillator. It's not an RSI. Overbought, oversold tells us whether or not a stock is likely at a short-term low or short-term high within its prevailing trend. So we look at pool and we say, it's in an uptrend, right? Good. Now, within that uptrend, are we at a short-term low or a short-term high price point? When we're oversold below the dotted 30 line, we are likely at or near a short-term low. This is when we prefer to enter into our positions. Buy the dip, buy at a discount in an outperforming, positively trending stock. We buy the stock oversold, ride it to overbought, so on and so forth, right? Right? You can see it. Does it work every single time? No, nothing does, but it does a very good job at helping us find short-term highs, maybe where to exit up at a high, short-term lows, maybe where to enter. Does this make sense? Look again. Oversold, likely near a short-term low, moves up to overbought, bam, up near a high. For you shorter term swing traders, overbought, oversold is going to become your best friend. For those of you that are more longer term investors, that's okay. Overbought, oversold might not be quite as important. But if you're buying a stock that you plan to hold for a year, wouldn't you still rather get in 3% lower price point? That's the idea of overbought and oversold. Folks, we combine all of these indicators on this chart with the help of the checklist together to help us understand if this is the sort of stock we likely would be interested in purchasing for our portfolios. You get stocks like BNFT that are bullish rated. Guess what, folks? Money flow is weak, relative strength is weak. This is a mixed bag. When we get mixed data, we say, you know what? This is probably a stock I'd rather step away from. I can look for something that has clearer data telling us outperformance is likely. We can also find stocks that are very clearly bearish and more likely to underperform moving forward. Stocks like Pool here with green checks up and down are more likely to outperform and where we'd like to focus our attention. Now, how do we find these stocks? Well, two screens here left at the top that I want to discuss. First, our discovery engine. This discovery engine is a stock seeding tool. We type in a ticker and it shows us by hitting enter on our keyboard stocks that are like this one. It shows us this in a number of different categories. If you are familiar with Pandora, you put in a band and it plays you music that's similar to that band. That's what this is like. Or maybe how when you watch shows on Netflix, it shows you other shows they think you might like. In this case, you're telling them, I like this stock. Show me other stocks that are like it. Here are stocks that are like Amazon. There's 20 of them that you can see. If you're looking to expand beyond Amazon, other specialty retail or household durables, this is a way to do it. What if you're looking to do a long short strategy or other reasons you would look for a similar stock, but one that is more likely to underperform? Here are similar short candidates. There are stocks that have bullish ratings here in Chaikin Analytics for similar reasons to Amazon, strong earnings consistency, for example. Also stocks that have similar technical readings to Amazon, as well as ETFs that hold that stock. And we can view all of the stocks in any one of these groups in our workspace so we can analyze the chart with the help of the checklist by clicking View in Workspace. It'll pop you right back to the workspace, bring those 20 stocks over, and now you can run through those charts, use the checklist, and determine if any of these are stocks that you would like to consider. But maybe the best way to find ideas in Chaikin Analytics, Power Gauge Analytics tool is with our stock and ETF screener. This screener allows you to pick and choose the specific criteria you want in a stock. There are a lot of different choices here, and we do not want you to pick each and every one of these. If you did, you'd be narrowing things down too much. We would get 0 results. Instead, what we want to do is pick just a small handful of important criteria. What do I mean by that? Well, we make it easy for you to get started with our preset screens available here under the folder icon, preset screens. There are 12 of them, and you can click learn more about preset screens here to get more detail on what these are. But each of these 12 is going to bring you new ideas based on whatever this concept is. For example, bullish swing trade. Let's give that a click. Let's talk about what this is going to fill in. This is going to select our starting universe. This is broad. It's only the Russell 3000, but you could modify that. You could pick individual sectors, the NASDAQ, S&P 500, small cap value, as you see fit. Perhaps Marc Chaikin's weekly commentary will direct you to a certain part of the market that is stronger, and you will choose that. But for now, we'll stay broad with the Russell 3000. We want stocks that are bullish or very bullish rated, of course, our 20-factor model. We move down to technicals. We are looking for stocks that are oversold, right? Stocks that are likely near a short-term low, and we can hopefully buy the dip, right? In stocks that are otherwise strong. We look for 3-month high persistency money flow, stocks that have been accumulated over a period of a number of months here, 3 specifically by large institutions. We look for stocks that are clearly outperforming the S&P 500, very strong relative strength. In this case, a minimum price of $10. That's, of course, up to you. It's very easy. All you need to do is click Get Results. That's simple. Bam, here are 7 stock ideas that we may want to consider. Just because these stocks have returned on the screen does not mean we immediately buy them. No. Instead, what do? Well, we're going to bring them to the workspace, and we're going to analyze those charts with the help of our checklist. View in Workspace. It'll bring all 7 of those over here for us. And now we can easily run through those charts with the help of the checklist to determine if these are stocks more or likely to outperform by taking that weight of the evidence approach with the help of our proprietary data and the incredibly powerful 20-factor Power Gauge rating. This is just a small sample of what the Power Gauge Analytics tool and the Power Gauge Investor membership and subscription will bring to you. If you have more questions, please reach out to our team. We look forward to the opportunity to work with you.